Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Minister Ginger London. Thank you so much for joining me on tonight for this live stream. We're talking about transformational conversations. So I'm excited that you're here. I also thank you if you're watching the replay. We're giving you an inside sneak peek into the Diamond Rush Coach uh, training and certification program that we're offering for 100% free as an early Black Friday special. So I just thought I would come on and give you a little snippet of the type of training that's going to take place inside of the actual training course. Today, we're talking about transformational conversations, the power of the power of coaching to change lives. And if you're familiar with coaching, or maybe you've gone through coaching, you know that coaching mostly is a conversation. So at the very core of life coach training is transformational conversations. It is the power of coaching to change lives. So when we're talking about conversations, we're talking about what you're saying to your client, what you're saying to your uh, church member, what you're saying to your congregation member, what you're saying to your group member, what you're saying to the individuals that you're coaching. What are you saying to them? And not only what are you saying to them, but how are the words impacting their lives or influencing them to go through a transformation? On the other side of the conversation, what takes place? Or do they have an aha moment? Or they thought of it, come up and say, you know what, I never thought about it that way. What is going on in that conversation? So let's look at what exactly is a coaching conversation and why does it matter. So when we look at a coaching conversation, they're the very heart and soul of coaching. They are purposeful. That's very important. You're not going to be having a conversation just to chit chat with somebody or just because you don't have anything else to do. These conversations are purposeful. There's a goal, there's an aim, there's an outcome that you want your client to experience, that you want your group to experience, you want your congregation members to experience, whether you're talking to a big group or whether you're talking to a small group. You want the conversation to have purpose. It's guided interactions between a coach and a client. No one person, not the coach, not the client, will monopolize the conversation, take over the conversation, over talk in the conversation. But it's your responsibility as a life coach to be the facilitator or the guide in the conversation and with the interactions that take place in the conversation. Um, it's not for the client to come on and then just run wild with the coaching session. You are the guide. You are the person that is ultimately responsible for the outcome of the coaching conversation. You can let a client run wild in a conversation or overtalk you in a conversation or monopolize the conversation. And the bottom line is they're going to feel like they didn't get anything from the conversation, and they're going to be wondering to themselves if they actually don't say to you, I don't see how this is helping me. I don't see what good is this, because I'm doing all the talking and you're not saying anything, right? So you want to make sure that you guide the interactions within the conversation. Uh, these conversations are designed to help the client to explore their thoughts, right? Explore their thoughts. What's going on in the mind that has you in the place you're in right now, or what's going on in your mind that's causing you to think about a particular situation or something you're trying to do. What's going on that makes you think the way that you're thinking about that what you want to do, or what you're coming to the coaching session for, or what the client is coming to the coaching session for. So how, as the coach, do I help the client to explore their thoughts, explore their emotions? How are you feeling about being stuck in life? What type of feelings are you having? All right. Explore their goals. What are your goals? What is it that you want to accomplish in life, accomplish in your career, accomplish in ministry, accomplish in your family relationship, in your personal relationship, depending on what they're coming to you for coaching for? The ultimate bottom line is this: the conversation, the coaching conversation should be designed to help the client explore their thoughts, their emotions, and the goals, ultimately leading to personal and professional growth. That is the number one outcome. Will they see or experience transformation from the conversation that they have with you? Now, just bringing it back on a natural. Have you ever had a conversation with a family member, a friend, a coworker, where that conversation was more draining to you at the end of the conversation, and you didn't even get a word in edgewise? They did all the talking, they were rambling, they were repeating the same things over and over again. They were telling the same story over and over again. They were angry all over again. Every time you tried to get in and say something, or slow them down a little bit, they talked even faster. So those types of conversations are extremely draining. And I know that we probably all have experienced conversations where, when we left the conversation, whether it was in person, whether it was on the phone, and right now, well, even before now, remember they had Skype. It still exists, but Skype, where people were doing face to face before there was Zoom and all these other things. Well, if you've ever had any type of conversation with someone who did not let you get a word in, those conversations are very draining. They can be very tiring. You can be exhausted from one conversation with someone. So it's important, as a coach, that you learn how to guide the conversation. Control might sound a little strong, but you have to learn how to control the guiding of the coaching conversation. How do I handle this conversation without being overbearing, without being insensitive, without showing some compassion or concern? How do I take charge of the conversation in an easy, professional way, where the client, doesn't feel like they don't have, like, what they have to say isn't worth anything, but they do understand that this has to be a purposeful conversation. This has to be interactions that are guided by the person, by the coach. One of my, I guess I could say, one of my favorite sayings uh, or questions would be, in general, is, when do the sick ever diagnose themselves? Not that your clients are necessarily sick, but when does the sick diagnose themselves? When do they prescribe their own medication? When do they prescribe their own treatment plan? No, that process has to be guided by the professional person. So it's the same thing with you as a life coach. You have to guide the conversations. If the client is going to take over the conversation, they don't really need you. So they don't need to pay you to take over, right? They need to pay you for help, for guidance, for something that they don't understand, something that they don't can't put their finger on. They need you to reach into the deep, and the deep calls into the deep. They need you to be that person that can help them to discover some things in life. The conversations hold the potential to unlock your client's potential and ignite transformation, right? So your coaching conversation has potential. It has the possibility of doing something. What is the something that you want it to do? You want it to unlock your client's potential, unlock your client's potential, and ignite transformation. So your potential is something that you're capable of doing, but you haven't done. So it's the same truth for your client. Your client will have the potential or be able to do something that they haven't done. Well, you want your conversation with them, the coaching conversation, to unlock that potential. In other words, it's no longer lying dormant. It's no longer in bondage. It's no longer wrapped up. It's no longer hidden under the bed. It's no longer anything but unlocked. So now they can move forward, and you can, through the conversation, ignite the transformation that needs to take place so potential shows up in action steps. Got it? So you want to make sure that in a coaching conversation or any conversations that you want to be productive, right? You want conversations that are productive, whether you are coaching or not, when you're having a conversation with loved ones, when you're having a conversation with a team member on your job, you're having a conversation with another associate, you want those conversations to be purposeful, and you want that interaction to have the potential to unlock something. And that's the other person's potential, even your very own. If you're at work, if you're not in a professional coaching setting, but maybe you know, the coworker is bouncing something off of you, you need to bounce something off the coworker. Every conversation that you have in life should have the potential to bring transformation, the potential to unlock something, whether it's encouragement, whatever it is. But we're talking about the coaching conversation, which is a little different than an everyday conversation. So they need to have the potential to unlock your client's potential and ignite transformation. So the essence of coaching conversations, at the very core of coaching conversations, lies a fundamental truth. One, they are driven by the belief that clients have the answers within themselves. It's driven by that, right? But if you've been following the coaching industry for a while, you'll know that's shifting a little bit. It's changing, right? Because if um, the clients had all the answers within themselves, they wouldn't necessarily need a coach as much, right? We know from just looking at advertisements, from looking at what people are offering in coaching, what people are selling in coaching, that the answers are in whatever they're selling. It's in their programs. It's in whatever they're teaching you. The answers are there. So everybody doesn't have the answers within them. Some people need the answers spoken to them so they can embrace them. And that's what makes you different as a coach. If you go in and you think, oh, you got the answers within you, the client, if it's if it's a face-to-face, whether it's Zoom site, if they can see you, when you make that statement, they're going to give you the deer in the headlight look. Like, what are you talking about? Right? And if that's the case, why am I here? Right? So some people will have those answers because they are sitting on their gifts and they're sitting on their abilities. Some people have uh, hidden their talents and skills, and they're not stepping out in trying new things, or they're not moving forward in their career. They're not applying for the next level job. They're not looking into other industries to change their careers to make more money. So they're sitting on things that they know they can do. Those clients will have the answers within them. And through conversation, you will discover that they've been sitting on the answer, knowing it, but never doing it. Big difference. It's a big difference from me sitting on something and knowing it and never doing it than me being maybe having a lack of knowledge, not knowing what to do. Two different people, right? So if I come to you to coach for coaching, and I absolutely don't know what to do, it could be because I have a lack of knowledge. Not so much that I'm fearful of anything, I just don't know what to do. And that's where the coach comes in. And if you, like I said, if you've been following this industry, you know there are many different types of coaches. You do have the one-on-one coach that says, hey, the answers are within you. Then you have the teaching coach that'll teach you a strategy, teach you a skill, teach you personal development, teach you how to do something, teach you how to strengthen your prayer life, teach you how to move in your career, how to change your resume. They're teaching coaches, right? And then you have other coaches that actually are strategists. So they teach you strategies, or you go to them, and guess what? If you're in business, if you're in ministry, if you're in your career, you have a session with them. It's called a strategy session. What are that conversation is literally mapping out every step that you need to take to get to where you want to go. regardless of where that is. So it's different. All right. Another one is coaches aren't there to provide solution all the time. Right. In the past, they said coaches are not there to provide solutions. If you're evolving, things have changed. So coaches aren't there to provide solution all the time. But there are times when the solutions are right there with the coach and they speak it to the client. And if the client embraces what the coach is saying and step out and do what they're supposed to do, they'll see change. They'll see growth. They'll see development. They'll see movement. They'll see progression in their lives. The coaches are there to facilitate a journey of self-discovery and transformation. They are there to facilitate, right? I facilitate your journey. I facilitate your transformation. But there are stops in that journey and stops on that transformative road where I have to step in and I will have to give you something to do. I will have to just tell you outright what you need to do to move to the next step. Because sometimes your client is going to be sitting there for days trying to figure it out and they're just not going to get it. So you can't knock them over the head, because if you're a teaching coach, here's something to remember. You haven't taught if nobody's learned. It's the same thing as coaching. People can come to you and they could pay money until next year. But if they are still in the same spot with you next year that they started with you this year, then may not necessarily be the client. It very well might be the coach. You can't make them do anything, but if you're not telling them what to do, they're not going to be able to do anything. You have to tell them what to do, period. Some people, you just have to tell them what to do. So this essence is what sets coaching conversations apart and make them so impactful. The conversation is purposeful. The conversation is guided. It's a journey of self-discovery. It's a transformation journey. The coach is guiding, you're leading. You have to be comfortable and confident in that, because when you're doing that, the person is looking to you. You become not just a coach, you become a teacher, you become a mentor, you become a facilitator, you become all of those things in the coaching relationship. If you step back and say, I'm just here to, just to hear what you're saying, and they get nothing from you, they will ease out of the coaching relationship. And I don't care if it takes them 3 months, they'll find somebody. They'll keep looking and keep looking and keep looking until they find someone who can help them. And when they find that person, they're going to lock in, they're going to do the work, and they're going to stay loyal to that person, to that particular coach. So you're creating safe spaces for transformation. That's what you're doing in the coaching conversation. All right. You're creating this safe and confidential space where clients can be their true selves. They have to be able to open up to you. They have to be able to trust that you're not sharing that information. They have to be able to trust that it's a judgment-free, meaning judgmental-free zone where they can express their thoughts, fears, and dreams without the fear of criticism. Big difference, right? I can judge your situation. I can take a microscopic look into it, and I can tell you from what I see, one, if it lines up with the word of God, and then two, in a coaching relationship, I can tell you whether or not what you're doing is productive to where you want to go. Now, that's not criticizing you. Now, if I'm looking at you from a critical perspective, then I may look at you and say, all you're doing is wasting time. You should have been finished with this by now. What is it? You don't get what I'm saying? I mean, all those types of things that are critical, I will pinpoint things that put the client down, make them feel incompetent or less than. Those are criticisms. But when I'm looking at it with a professional eye, and I'm looking at it to judge it, to say, listen, we've been talking about this same thing for 3 weeks now. Let's take a look at what we've been talking about and see how can we get past this, because you need to move forward. Right? Because maybe they're stuck in the conversation somewhere, because maybe an old pain came up, or an old memory, came up, and they're like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm stuck right here, but they're afraid to say it. So again, as the facilitator of the conversation, you have to be able to go between the lines of the conversation, what's being said, and pull out what's not being said and address it, so they'll feel comfortable and safe to be able to share with you what they need to share, and you work on that to get them past it so they can move forward. This safe space empowers clients to explore, reflect, and grow. To explore, they have to take a look at what's going on within them, right? What's going on around them, what's going on in their career, what's going on the job, what's going on in ministry if you're coaching someone in ministry, what's going on in their family life, what's going on in their personal life, what's going on in the workplace relationship, their coworkers, what's going on. Have them explore that. The conversation needs to really take a deep dive into exploring what's going on right now. So we'll know where to go from here in the coaching relationship. In the coaching conversations need to progressively move forward. Then to reflect. Reflect every time they meet with you, every time they have a conversation with you, reflect back on, the previous conversation or at the end of one. What are you getting from this session? What are your takeaways? What do you think about yourself? What did you learn about yourself? When they come back to the next coaching session, same thing. You had a week to think about it. Did you discover anything else? What's your reflection on all of this? What's your take on everything that's gone on so far? You want them to be able to grow. So you don't want them just to explore and reflect and then sit still. You want them to grow. How do they grow? They make a decision to move forward. They make a decision to take an action step. They make a decision to leap out. They make a decision to do something different than what they're already doing that will move them forward. Not backwards, but forward. In coaching, you're moving forward. You're pushing people to another area, to another level, making it a pivotal catalyst for change. Right. So when they get to the grow part, when they get to the action step, when they get to the step of faith, when they get to doing something different, when they get to um, when you walk in the morning, smile and say good morning to everybody at work. In the past, they were walking in with their head down, not looking at anybody, going straight to their cubicle. And now they're trying to figure out why nobody likes them at work. Nobody talks to them at work, right? So if you want to see something different, you got to change. So the challenge might be when you walk in tomorrow, have your head held high, smile and say good morning, and try that for the next 7 days. And when we come back and talk again, I want you to tell me what that felt like, right? Did you feel growth? Did you feel appreciated when they said good morning back, when they smiled back at you? How did you feel, right? So you want them to be able to use that conversation as a pivotal catalyst for change. From this conversation, I'm going to now go tomorrow morning for the next 7 days, and I'm going to hold my head up, look at everybody in the eye, say good morning, ask them how they're doing. Then after I've done that, I'll go to my cubicle and work. And I'm going to journal and write down how that felt, what happened throughout the day, so that when they come back to you, the coach, in a week or two, they have something to share with you. And the conversation now goes to a different level. So you want to make sure it's a safe place that empowers clients to explore, to reflect, and grow, making it a pivotal catalyst for change. So why are coaching conversations different? One, because are different from everyday conversations. It's just no question about it. The whole purpose of it is different. They are intentionally designed to inspire personal and professional growth. It's always that. If you're having a coaching conversation and that conversation is not designed to inspire personal and professional growth, then you might want to look at the conversations you're having as a coach. Or if you're being coached and you don't feel like you're growing, you don't feel like you're being inspired, or those conversations are tugging at you to grow, then you might want to have that conversation with your coach to find out why you're feeling that way. And you might be able to reflect back to the coach what the conversations are like and how do you feel when you leave those coaching sessions. All right. Through powerful questioning, active listening, and skill reflection, coaching conversation guides clients to tap into their potential, helping them overcome challenges and seize opportunities. A lot of times in your coaching, depending on the type of coaching you're doing, some people are not seizing opportunities. Opportunity is knocking at the door, and because they're sitting on gifts, sitting on talent, not moving forward in life, not taking a leap of faith, not launching out into the deep. No matter how you describe it, they're sitting still. And so they don't seize opportunities. So the coaching conversation goes back to being able to guide that conversation to a place where you begin to probe with power questions, helping them to discover that you're sitting still and that's why you're not experiencing anything. And opportunity knocks on your door, but because of being stuck or because of your lack of confidence, you're not stepping out. You didn't open the door. You didn't answer the knock. So you don't get the opportunity. So we're here to discover in these coaching sessions what is gripping your potential. What is it that keeps you stuck? So we're going to work through that. And then let's look at some of the opportunities that you missed. And maybe they could come back around again, but let's see what you missed. And then let's compare that to your skill set to say, hey, listen, this is how far you could have been. So let's work on getting there, right? So through powerful questioning, active listening, you have to be a really good listener as a life coach or whatever type of coach you're going to be. Business coach, marketing coach, ministry coach, relationship coach, recovery coach. Um, there are divorce coaches out there. Um, um, those type of things. It's so many different types of coaching out there. But whatever adjective you put in front of coaching to describe what type of coach you're going to be, you have to be able to engage in powerful questioning. It's just no getting around that. Active listening, you have to be able to hear what's not being said, not just what's being said, but what's not being said, so that you can go in between the lines. And once you discover what's not being said, then you'll know what question to ask next to get them to say it. And it takes a little skill, it takes practice, but it's the same thing if um, a counselor would do it, a psychologist would do it if they're really good, a therapist would do it. So it's the same thing. I learned about power questioning, I think, when I was at ORU and I was in the counseling program, and I learned about power questions. Well, they don't call them power questions in counseling, probing questions in counseling. In coaching, it's called powerful questioning. But I learned that skill when I was actually in seminary in grad school at doing counseling and probing questions. They're called probing questions in counseling. But there are questions that when you ask them, the person, everything changes in their demeanor if you're sitting there looking at them. When you ask the right question, even if you're on the phone, you will know that you asked the right question because everything goes silent on the phone. And then they come back, or you hear them take a deep breath, but they come back and they answer the question. Or if they're struggling with the answer, they'll tell you. They'll say, that was a great question. I never thought about that. I'm gonna have to work through this one, and you stop and you work through it. Right. And so active listening and then skill reflection. And so you have to be, as a coach, you have to be able to reflect back on the coaching section, session at that moment, the conversation in this main session, and then reflect back and just say, here as a coach, here's what I heard in this conversation. Coach got to take good notes, but here's what I heard in the conversation. You tell me if I'm right, if I'm actually hearing you, and the client will tell you if you're actually hearing him or her. So they'll actually let you know that. So through powerful questioning, active listening, and skill reflection, coaching conversations guide clients to tap into their potential, helping them overcome challenges and seize opportunities. I want to ask you, think about these. I'm going to ask if you remember these conversations. And these are coming from scripture. In the beginning, when Adam was in the Garden of Eden, and after he had eaten from the tree that he wasn't supposed to eat from, God, and he was they went and they covered themselves with leaves because they were naked. And God asked him a power question. Who told you you were naked? That's a power question. Who told you you were naked? Right? Because remember, he walked with God in the cool of the day. Who told you you were naked? So I want you to envision your coaching client. and they're telling you, I can't do that. I'm not smart enough. Nobody will buy from me. Nobody's going to want me to teach them anything online. They're not going to listen to me. Power question. Who told you that no one would buy from you? Who told you that no one would buy your online course or come to your webinar? Who told you that no one wanted to hear you teach? Who told you that you couldn't advance in your career? Who told you couldn't apply for the job as supervisor? Who told you that you weren't good enough for that position? Right? So that's in a coaching session. Here's another one. Remember, God was telling Moses, I want you to go set my people free. And he came up with everything, like, oh, I stutter, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Pharaoh not gonna listen to me, and all these kinds of things. He's stronger. He named everything, right? God asked Moses, what's in your hand? What's in your hand? And he answered him. He said, a staff, a rod. But the question was, what's in your hand? Right? And so for some of your clients, this will be a question. What's in your hand? Right? I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if anybody's going to listen to me. I don't know if the team is going to do what I want them to do on the job. If I did the supervisor position, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What's in your hand? What's in your hand? And he said to God what was in his hand, and God showed him how powerful the element was that he was holding in his hand. So a lot of times your clients will already have a skill set, a knowledge base, um, expertise, you name it. They'll already have it. They don't recognize that they're holding it in their hands per se. And you as a coach will have to ask the question, what's in your hand? Mhm. What's on your resume that will qualify you for the supervisor's position? What's the skill set that you have right now that will qualify you for the supervisor's position if you never did another day of training? What's in your hand? Mm. What's in your hand right now? What can you use right now to move forward? Right? What's in your hand? What do you have in your spirit, in your personality that you could use right now to make the communication better in your relationships, to make your family relationship more healthy? What's in your hand? All right. Another one, Jesus asked the man at the pool of Bethesda that sat there for 38 years. He said, do you want to get well? Not how long have you been sitting here? Why are you sitting here? What's holding you here? Why haven't you moved forward? How long you've been coming here? He didn't ask all of that. He said, do you want to get well? Do you want to get well? And right behind that, he said, take up your bed and walk. So as a coach, there are times you're going to have to ask a power question, because Jesus didn't even wait till, the man started making all kind of excuses. Do you want to get well? And you're going to have to turn right behind that and tell that person exactly what they need to do to get well. Do you want to move forward? Do you want to advance in your career? Do you want a promotion? Do you want to start the business? Do you want to start ministry? Do you want to start a podcast? Do you want to do online teaching? Do you want to start a school of ministry online? Do you want to have a better relationship in your family relationship? Do you want to get well? And as a coach, you have to come behind that and tell them exactly what to do. If you want the promotion on the job, then here's what you have to do. Change your resume, dress it up, make it look better. Make sure you list all of your skill set, and make sure you say exactly what you bring to the table. Put it on your resume. Do you want better communication in your personal relationship, in your romantic relationship with your husband, relationship with your wife? Then bridle your tongue. Stop cursing, speak more pleasant words. Let no filthy communication come out your mouth. Try to try to talk differently. Be nice, be courteous, be loving. Do something different to get something different. Right? Do you want to start the business? Yes. Well, then go find out what you need to do. Do you need a license? Go get it. Right? You as a coach will have to give instruction to some of your clients on what their next step is, what their next move is, if they want to go forward. You don't want to be sitting at the pool for 38 years. Then you're going to have to tell them to take up your bed and walk. But you're only going to get that, be able to do that in the conversation. right? And it has to be a conversation that's challenging, right? It's not, I'm not drinking tea and coffee with you, just a chit chat. In a coaching conversation, on a coaching call, whether I'm on a bridge line, whether I'm on a Zoom, and whether I'm on Skype, or some other platform that's letting us do video conferencing. I'm not doing that just because I don't have anything else to do. I'm doing it because I know as a coach that I'm gifted at what I do. So I know when I have a conversation with you, something's going to change. Whether you like it or not, something's going to change. Whether you take the action step or not, something's going to change. The conversation, it will be productive, it will be purposeful, and it will ignite transformation. It's up to the client to take the steps to see transformation manifest in his or her life, but the conversation will create the atmosphere for it to take place. It's up to the client to do the work. I do my work as a coach before I come to the session, and I do my work in the session. The client makes a commitment and has to do the work after the session is over, and I check them when they come back to the next session. Did they do? Did you follow through on the commitment that you made last week or whenever it was? So these conversations showcase the ones we talked about here, the immense potential for positive change that coaching conversations can bring. It is important. This is like the foundation of coaching. It's the conversation. It's what I'm saying to the client, what the client is saying to me, what I'm saying to the group, what the group says back to me, depending on what type of coaching you're doing. Um, Even if you're doing um, an online a live online group or online teaching where they come and take a webinar or they're taking a 6-week course from you, it's still the coaching conversation. I might be in a teaching frame, but I'm still having a conversation with you, even if you took a coaching program from me that's live. In the past, it was live on a conference call line. A lot of them are still doing that, but most of them now are doing Zoom or some other platform that allows you to have face-to-face videos with people. So that's the coaching conversation. Remember that it is to bring change. And so, of course, if you've been watching over the last few days, I have an exciting invitation. If you're passionate about becoming a life coach or curious to experience the transformational power of coaching conversation, here's the opportunity. Once again, we're doing an early Black Friday special. This is the first time that I've ever done this, and probably will be the last. I can't say that for sure. If you are led by the Spirit of God, you just got to go with the flow. But we're doing it for free. We are redesigning and updating the curriculum. So it's like a beta coach certification because you are part of the redesign and the update of the curriculum, but it is still full certification. It's still coach training. You will be fully certified. So this is my way of saying thank you for the support over the years. We're celebrating 8 years. If you register by November the 5th, which is tomorrow, by 11:45 p.m. Central Standard Time, you can register for free. So don't miss this opportunity. Be a part of this transformation. The registration link is in the comment section. It's all over the social media pages and groups that I'm in. So make sure that you register by tomorrow at 11:45 p.m. Don't miss it. It's no cost to you. If you This is a golden opportunity. I mean, you could register it if you come in because it's not costing you anything, right? You say, hey, nah, I don't think this for me. All you have to do is stop coming to the class, to the training sessions, right? So, but I wouldn't miss it. I wish it had been free. Somebody had done something like this when I did it, So, it's free. It's just a thank you. We're updating and redesigning the curriculum. It's just a way to give back, to say thank you. I'm excited about it. So I hope that you are too. Again, we're calling it Diamond Rush Coach Training and Certification Beta Program because we are introducing um, a new curriculum, and we're updating the curriculum. So remember, you have until the 5th to register. Training starts on the 12th. The 12th and the 13th, we come for onboarding, and we're going to actually start it with what we call the coaches kickoff. So we'll be spending 2 days dealing with with you, the coach, just strictly talking about you, the coach. Before we get into what coaching is and all those other technical things, we're talking about who you are. What are your gifts? What are your talents? Are you confident? What is your passion? What is your zone of genius? What inspires you? Who are the people that you believe that you are assigned to, and who are the people that you would like to coach? So we're going to be dealing with you, the coach. We're calling it coaches kickoff. And so we're spending 2 days looking at that with some assessments and worksheets you'll fill out, but it's all about you. And I guarantee you, when you go through those 2 days of that, even if you don't stay for the training, you will be glad you completed those 2 days. You will discover some things about yourself that maybe you knew, and just haven't done anything with, or you discover something that you didn't know, but it um excites you, right? It lights your fire. We're told in the scriptures to stir up the gift on the inside. And so that's what I want to do for the first 2 days. I want to stir the gift up on the inside of you, because when your gift is stirred up, you receive better, you train better, and then you do better. So I want the gift to be stirred up. So as we're going through the training, because as you're going through it, you're literally from day one, you'll be building your coaching business. You're getting, I mean, and in the training, you will launch before the training is over. So you'll actually be working on your coaching business after we do the coaches kickoff from day one. And when the official training starts, say official, but when we get into the coaching components of it, you from day one will be starting your coaching business. So don't miss this opportunity, everybody. I'm excited to do it. I look forward to seeing your name on the registration list. So don't miss it. I am excited. And once again, thank you for all of you who've been following me and supporting me and coming to these Facebook Lives or live streams. Thank you so much. This is just my way to give back. God bless you. Make an investment in yourself before you go out and spend all of your money on Black Friday weekend. Make an investment in yourself first. Make a commitment to make that investment into yourself first. It's free, but it's still an investment, because you still have to do the work. You still have to come to the training. It's an investment. Don't miss the opportunity to kick off your holiday season by investing in yourself, taking hold of a golden opportunity, but it's still an investment in yourself. Think about yourself. Think about what you're called to do. Think about what you would like to do, and think about, in order to do that, you have to be trained to do it. And you always hear me say over and over again, I always tell you the truth. You don't need a certification to do life coaching. There's no governing body for life coaches. You can hang your shingle tomorrow morning as a life coach. But if you want to be really good at coaching, if you want to be skilled at coaching, you do need to get training to coach. It's different. It's a lot different than some other type of service providers. So don't miss this opportunity. God bless you, everyone. Take care. Again, I'm Ginger London, the owner and founder of Diamond Coaching Academy. Take care, everybody. God bless. Have a great and awesome rest of the evening. Take care.